The wind was howling through downtown Tulsa that October morning, sending paper and leaves dancing in wild spirals across the sidewalk. I was walking to my job at the community health center, my head down against the gusts, when something bright yellow slapped against my ankle and stuck there like it was meant for me. I bent down and peeled off what looked like a crumpled flyer. The image hit me first, a pair of soulful brown eyes staring back at me from the face of an elderly golden retriever. "Senior pets need love too," the headline read. "Tulsa Animal Rescue. Open house this weekend." Standing there on that busy corner, something stirred deep in my chest. For the past 3 years, since my mama passed and my kids moved to different states for their careers, my little house in the Brookside neighborhood had felt so quiet. Too quiet. I'd been telling myself I was fine, that at 56 I was enjoying my independence, my peaceful evenings, my ability to come and go as I pleased. But holding that pamphlet, looking into those gentle eyes, I felt a longing I'd been pushing down for months. The universe seemed to be whispering something to me through that random piece of paper that had literally blown into my path. I folded the flyer carefully and tucked it into my purse, telling myself I was just being silly. But all day at work, as I helped patients navigate their insurance forms and scheduled their appointments, I kept thinking about those eyes, about the phrase "senior pets need love too," about how empty my evenings had become. That night, I sat in my living room with a cup of sage tea, staring at the pamphlet spread out on my coffee table. My Cherokee grandmother used to say that when something finds you 3 times, you need to pay attention. This was only the first time, but it felt significant. I closed my eyes and did something I hadn't done in months. I really listened to my heart. What did I actually want? Not what I thought I should want, not what was practical or expected, but what would make my soul sing. The answer came immediately. I wanted a companion, someone to share my morning coffee with, to take walks with around the neighborhood, to have a reason to come home excited each day. I wanted to love and be loved unconditionally again. But then the doubts crept in. Was I being selfish? I worked full-time. What if I got sick? What if the pet got sick and I couldn't afford the vet bills? What if? I'd been reading about manifestation and the law of attraction after my friend Sarah recommended a book by Dr. Joe Dispenza. She'd been going through her own transformation after her divorce, and she swore that changing her thoughts had changed her entire life. I was skeptical at first. It seemed too simple, too good to be true. But sitting there that night, I decided to try something. Instead of focusing on all the reasons why adopting a pet was a bad idea, what if I focused on how wonderful it would feel to have that companionship? What if I trusted that if this was meant to be, the universe would align the circumstances? I spent the next few days practicing what the book called visualization. Every morning before work, I'd sit quietly and imagine what it would feel like to have a furry friend greeting me at the door. I could almost hear the excited barking, feel the warm body pressing against my legs, see myself filling food bowls and picking out toys. More importantly, I focused on the emotions, the joy, the sense of purpose, the feeling of being needed and loved. I started a gratitude practice, thanking the universe in advance for bringing the perfect companion into my life, if that was what was meant to be. But here's what I didn't expect. The more I visualized having a pet, the more obstacles seemed to appear. My landlord mentioned he was thinking about implementing a no-pets policy. My work schedule got busier with the flu season approaching. My sister called to tell me about her friend whose dog had destroyed thousands of dollars worth of furniture. It was like the universe was testing my commitment, my faith in this vision I was holding. By Friday, I was exhausted and discouraged. Maybe this whole law of attraction thing was just wishful thinking. Maybe I was meant to stay alone, focused on my work and my own healing journey. I was walking home from the grocery store, arms full of bags, when a gust of wind sent papers flying from a nearby trash can. And there it was again. Another copy of that same yellow flyer, this time landing directly in my path. This was the second time. I stood there in the middle of the sidewalk, people walking around me, and I started to laugh. Really laugh, for the first time in weeks. The universe was being pretty persistent, wasn't it? That evening, I called Sarah. "I think I'm being sent signs," I told her, "but I'm scared to trust them." "You know what Neville Goddard used to teach?" she said. "He believed that what you assume to be true becomes your reality. What if you just assumed that everything was working out perfectly, even when it looks like it's not?" Saturday morning arrived gray and drizzly. The animal rescue open house was from 10 to 4, and I'd been debating all week whether to go. Part of me worried I was setting myself up for disappointment. What if I fell in love with a pet I couldn't have? What if none of them felt right? What if the universe's signs had just been wishful thinking on my part? But as I drank my morning coffee, I made a decision. I was going to trust the process. I was going to raise my vibration by choosing hope over fear, curiosity over certainty. If nothing else, I could volunteer to help out and surround myself with animals who needed love, even temporarily. The Tulsa Animal Rescue was housed in a converted warehouse on the edge of downtown. As I pulled into the parking lot, I could hear barking and meowing even from outside. My heart started racing, with excitement or anxiety I couldn't tell. Inside, the energy was beautiful chaos. Families with children were cooing over puppies, elderly couples were quietly observing the senior cats, and volunteers were everywhere, answering questions and facilitating meet and greets. I wandered through the dog kennels, my heart opening and breaking simultaneously. So many beautiful souls, all waiting for their forever homes. But nothing felt like that instant connection I'd been hoping for. And then I saw her. She was in the last kennel on the left, lying quietly on a blanket while chaos swirled around her. A medium-sized mixed breed, maybe part shepherd, part something else, with graying fur around her muzzle and the most dignified, patient expression I'd ever seen. The card on her kennel said her name was Luna. She was 8 years old, and she'd been surrendered when her elderly owner moved to assisted living. When our eyes met, something shifted in my chest. It wasn't fireworks or lightning bolts. It was more like coming home, like recognition, like she'd been waiting for me as much as I'd been looking for her. I knelt down by her kennel, and she approached slowly, pressing her nose against the chain link. When I put my finger through to touch her, her tail gave a gentle wag, not frantic or desperate, just hopeful. "She's special, that one," said a volunteer named Marcus who appeared beside me. "Very calm, very intuitive. She seems to know exactly what people need." "How long has she been here?" I asked, though I was almost afraid of the answer. "About 3 months. Most people want puppies or younger dogs. But Luna, she's got such a gentle soul. I keep thinking the right person just hasn't found her yet." I spent the next hour in the visiting room with Luna. She didn't jump or demand attention. She simply sat beside me, occasionally resting her head on my leg, as if she was saying, "I'm here if you want me." And suddenly, all my fears seemed so small compared to the love radiating from this beautiful being. The money concerns, the schedule worries, the what-ifs, they all felt manageable when I imagined Luna waiting for me at home each evening. But just as I was about to tell Marcus I wanted to adopt her, he got called away to handle an emergency with another animal. "I'll be right back," he promised. 20 minutes passed, then 30. I sat with Luna, my mind starting to spiral again. What if someone else wanted her? What if I'd waited too long? What if this was a sign that it wasn't meant to be? Luna seemed to sense my anxiety. She stood up and put her paw on my leg, looking directly into my eyes. In that moment, I swear I heard my grandmother's voice. "Trust what your heart knows, granddaughter." I took a deep breath and did something I'd learned from my manifestation practice. I focused on what I wanted to feel, not what I was afraid might happen. I imagined Luna and me at home together, peaceful and content. I felt gratitude for this connection we'd already formed. I sent out a clear intention to the universe. If this is meant to be, please align the circumstances. Marcus finally returned, looking frazzled. "I'm so sorry," he said. "We had a situation with..." I want to adopt her, I interrupted gently. Luna, I want to take her home. His face broke into a huge smile. Really? That's wonderful. She's been waiting for someone just like you. The next hour was a whirlwind of paperwork, reference checks, and preparation. But everything flowed smoothly. My vet references checked out immediately. My landlord, when contacted, turned out to be totally fine with pets as long as they were well behaved, and Luna passed her final health check with flying colors. As we completed the last of the forms, Marcus mentioned something that gave me chills. You know, it's funny, he said. We've been running low on those yellow flyers for weeks. We only had a few left, and most of them got thrown away because of the windstorms we've been having. But I guess a few made it to the right people. Synchronicity. That's what Abraham Hicks would call it. The universe orchestrating circumstances in ways our logical minds can't always understand. The drive home with Luna was quiet, but profound. She sat calmly in the back seat, occasionally looking out the window, as if she knew she was finally heading toward her real life. That first evening together was magic. Not because it was perfect. Luna was clearly nervous, and I was second-guessing every decision, but because it felt right in a way I hadn't experienced in years. As we sat on my couch together, her warm body pressed against my side, I felt something I'd forgotten I was missing, the simple joy of being needed and wanted. Over the next few weeks, Luna and I settled into our rhythm. She turned out to be the perfect companion for my lifestyle, calm enough to relax while I worked, active enough to encourage daily walks around the neighborhood, intuitive enough to sense when I needed comfort after difficult days at the clinic. But more than that, caring for her opened up parts of my heart I'd kept closed since Mama's death. I found myself attracting new friendships with other dog owners in the neighborhood. My evening walks became opportunities for connection and community. My house felt alive again, filled with purpose and love. 3 months after bringing Luna home, I was organizing my purse when I found that original yellow flyer, now worn and faded. As I looked at the photo of the golden retriever that had first caught my attention, I realized something beautiful. I hadn't gotten the dog from the picture, but I'd gotten exactly the companion my soul had been calling for. The universe had heard my heart's deepest longing and responded not with what I thought I wanted, but with what I actually needed. Luna and I have been together for 8 months now, and I can honestly say she's transformed my life in ways I never could have imagined. Not because she's a perfect dog. She has her quirks and preferences and occasional stubborn moments. But because loving her has taught me to trust my intuition, to believe in signs from the universe, and to remember that sometimes the most profound changes come wrapped in the simplest packages. Every morning when I wake up to her gentle snoring beside my bed, every evening when she greets me at the door like I'm the most important person in the world, I'm reminded that your thoughts create your reality. When I shifted from focusing on what I was afraid of losing to focusing on what I wanted to experience, everything changed. The law of attraction isn't just about manifesting things. It's about aligning yourself with the love and purpose that are already trying to find you. Sometimes that love has 4 legs and a graying muzzle and has been waiting in a kennel for someone brave enough to trust the whispers of their heart. My little house in Brookside isn't quiet anymore. It's filled with the sounds of life. Paws clicking on hardwood floors, the gentle thump of a tail against the couch, the soft sighs of contentment that come from being exactly where you belong. And every time the wind blows papers around downtown Tulsa, I smile and think about the power of intention, the magic of staying open to signs from the universe, and the incredible ways life can surprise us when we're willing to trust that we're being guided toward our highest good. Luna isn't just my dog. She's proof that the universe is listening, that synchronicity is real, and that sometimes the most perfect love comes exactly when we need it most, often in ways we never could have planned. If you've been feeling called towards something, a change, a connection, a leap of faith, I encourage you to trust those whispers. Pay attention to what keeps showing up in your life. Practice gratitude for what's coming, even before you can see it clearly. And remember that the universe often delivers our greatest gifts through the simplest, most unexpected doorways. Luna is sleeping beside me as I share this story with you, her peaceful breathing reminding me that home isn't a place, it's a feeling. And that feeling is available to all of us when we're brave enough to manifest it. If this story touched your heart and reminded you to trust the signs in your own life, I'd love to hear from you. Comment below with the word trust if you believe the universe is guiding you toward your own perfect companion or connection. And if you know someone who needs to hear this message about staying open to unexpected blessings, please share this story with them. Don't forget to like this video if it inspired you, and subscribe for more real stories about manifestation, synchronicity, and the beautiful ways the universe responds when we align our hearts with our deepest desires.